Everyone good? Okay, welcome to today's session for formative assessment and how to deploy formative assessment in your classes. Hello and welcome to everyone who has joined today. Thank you very much for joining us today. The first thing we can say is well done for joining and working on your professional development today. So first of all, well done for joining today. And hopefully we will get something to take away from this webinar series, because this is the series 3 for the takeaway teacher webinar series in Myanmar. So we have 2 excellent educators today that will be talking to us about formative assessment. Okay, a few things first about the session. Please make sure you don't put any personal details into the chat box. Please don't put anything inappropriate. You can be removed by the moderators if you are not complying with those rules. Okay, if you would like to change to Burmese language, this is also available. If you have a look on your toolbar, you should be able to see a globe sign. There you can change the language. That's possible. We also have a sign language interpreter, Miss Lily, with us today. So all these sessions for the takeaway series will have a sign language interpreter. So please do share that information for other people if that will be useful for them. Okay, please use the chat box to interact with the educators, and you can also use the Q&A function if you have a specific question that we will try to gather and answer at the end. You will get a certificate when you complete the survey. At the end, everyone will get a certificate, so do not worry. And as I already mentioned, this session is being recorded. Hello, everyone. And please, if you have any problems or if you feel like there's any kind of safeguarding problem or safety problem that you would like to report, or you want to talk to somebody about some kind of issue that you have with the session today, then please do contact the safeguarding team at the British Council. Okay, and also report incidents, please using SafeCall. Okay, well, let's get started today. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and the 2 teachers, please can introduce themselves and we will get started.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Very nice to meet you all, and I thank you everyone for joining today's webinar. And I thank you very much, British Council, and especially Amy and Miss Ethan and Miss Lily for supporting us for this webinar. The topic that we are going to discuss today is deploying formative assessment in language classes effectively. Before we start, let us briefly introduce ourselves first. My name is Kinta Namyet, and I am an English language teacher at We Educate English Language Center, and I am a PhD candidate in Educational Administration and Leadership Program, Assumption University, Thailand. Now let me invite my co-presenter, Dr. Puma, for her self-introduction.
Thank you, Teacher Mia. Good afternoon, everyone. Firstly, I would like to say thank you to Amy, British Council, and all the participants who are joining today. Welcome to our webinar. I'm Ipu Mao, and I'm working as an English language teacher at We Educate English Language Center. So, nice to meet you all. And today, in our webinar, me and Teacher Mia will present alternatively. So, let me invite Teacher Mia. Teacher Mia, thank you. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Teacher Ipu. Today, we are here to discuss how to deploy formative assessment effectively in our classroom. We have 3 main objectives that we like to achieve. First, we like to highlight the critical role of formative assessment in our teaching learning context. And we like to show how to demonstrate formative assessment activities. And we like to discuss possible challenges of formative assessment activities and how to overcome them based on our own experience and based on literature. So we have 6 parts in today's webinar. The first introduction, role of assessment, and second, role of formative assessment, and the possible challenges and solutions to deploying formative assessment will be discussed by me, and teacher Ipu will talk about demonstration of some formative assessment activities and takeaway messages. If you have any questions, there is a question and answer section at the end of our webinar, and we both will be trying to answer subject to your questions. So now let me start the first part, role of assessment. Actually, the term assessment and education has become an indispensable part long time ago. Traditionally, when we heard assessment, it is actually understood as final exams or semester exams or high-stake exams, which are used at the end of the term or semester. And that is mainly used for giving grades or scores of students' achievement. And that is termed as summative assessment or assessment of learning. However, since the introduction of the term, the black box, by two famous education professors, Paul Black and Dylan William, in their very famous book, in their very famous book published in 1998, a black box is actually used as a metaphor for a classroom where little can be known what has happened inside the black box. Similarly, we actually can't know exactly what has happened inside our classroom, even though different inputs such as resources, teachers, students are fed into classroom, and we took some time, and after a period of time, different results, students with different outcomes or students with different achievement are resulted as outcomes. But we have no clear idea what has happened to individual students, and we have no clear ideas why individual students have got better scores than others and vice versa. That's why summative assessment is actually just to know students' results and students' achievement, but no ways to help their achievement, and there's no way to enhance their learning progress. As a result, different educators and scholars have been trying to investigate an effective way to help students achieve their goals. And it has been found that formative assessment is an effective means to help students increase or develop their achievement. And also, we found that formative assessment activities can really raise standard of achievement for students. So why formative assessment has been regarded that critical and that important in our teaching learning context? Before we move on to that part, let's do an one-map activity for your background knowledge. Here you can see 5 sentences. Can you please write down true or false for each sentence? You can answer through the chat box. Formative assessment activities can be used only at the end of the lessons. What do you think? The main goal of using formative assessment activities in classroom is to give final scores or grades to students. And it is too time-consuming for teachers to use formative assessment activities in classroom. It's possible to use formative assessment activities effectively in low-resource classrooms. Okay, 3 false, 1 false. Okay, 1 false, 2 false, false, false. The last one, using formative assessment in classroom is effective only with adult students. Okay, I see lots of false. Okay, number 4, true. Okay. Wow. Thank you for your answers. Yes, most of you have already got knowledge about formative assessment, showing that it is not that unfamiliar to you all. So I appreciate that. Yes, of course, most of the statements are false apart sentence 4. It is possible to use formative assessment activities effectively, even in low-resource classrooms. Thank you very much, and I appreciate your answers. So why formative assessment is important, and what is formative assessment like? According to Roscoe and Newman, 2012, formative assessment is defined as the evaluation of students' learning through their performances and using it immediately to guide and enhance students' understanding and skills. According to this, formative assessment means to evaluate students' learning, which means their strengths, weaknesses, and also challenging parts for them through their performances, and also give feedback to individual immediately to enhance their learning. So this is formative assessment definition. So why formative assessment is very unique and effective means in teaching? So it has 4 core characteristics. First, identifying gaps. Formative assessment actually can help teacher identify the gaps of students' learning, which means between students' current level and their target level. The second point is it can give immediate feedback. This is quite unlike summative assessment, which is we have got the result of students after this term or maybe next year, and then we can't do anything to enhance students' learning. And also it can enhance student involvement because that is classroom assessment, which teachers can apply just in their classroom without the need of any other resources from outside. The last one, but very important point is it can accelerate learners' learning progression, meaning they are learning, their achievement. So based on these 4 criteria, formative assessment can provide many benefits to different education stakeholders, meaning institution leaders, policymakers, to teachers, to students, and also to parents. But however, for time's sake, let me focus only on 2 main stakeholders, for teachers and for students. So how is formative assessment beneficial to teachers? So as we have might imagined, as we have might thought that formative assessment can help teachers to collect information which is required or which reflects students' needs and weaknesses and their challenges, and can help them to fulfill to fill the gaps in students' knowledge, which is challenging for them. And like summative assessment, which makes teacher prepare test items for a long time and then need to do pilot test, etc. So summative assessment is quite time consuming. And like it, formative assessment is far less time consuming. And also it can save energy because teachers can integrate formative assessment activities just in their normal teaching schedule. Okay, so teacher Ipyu will demonstrate how to apply these formative assessment activities. Actually, there are lots and lots of activities that you can use as formative assessment, like quizzes, exit tickets, polls, or self-assessment and peer assessment activities. There are many activities. And based on these data collected from the students, teacher can give specific and effective feedback to individual students based on their needs. By using scaffolding activities, here scaffolding activities are really beneficial for students or for anyone who are in their zone of proximate development. According to Lev Vygotsky's learning and development theory, so students in their zone of proximate development can be effectively helped by giving support or by giving scaffolding activities by more knowledgeable others. Here, teachers can be either teacher or either their peers or their classmates can be more knowledgeable others that can help them overcome these challenges. Here you can see zone of proximate development meaning, which means they cannot do that kind of tasks or they cannot acquire that skill yet by their own. However, on the help of others, by teachers or by their peers, they can achieve that goal. So this is what is meant by zone of proximate development. The last point, but very important thing to consider is formative assessment activities are very useful in different contexts, including ours, okay? It doesn't matter whether face-to-face or online classes, doesn't matter small or large or students with different levels or age. That's why these are the main benefits for teachers provided by formative assessment. So what are the benefits for students of formative assessment? Formative assessment can actually help them to realize their own weaknesses and the challenges that they are facing with. And also they can help them to improve by the help of, as we mentioned, teacher or by their more knowledgeable friends. As a result, they can become a more active participants in their own learning, which is the main goal of today's education, right? Not as a passive role, just taken as an active role in their own learning. As a result, formative assessment activities can increase students' motivation, their collaboration with others, and also their participation, which is very required or which are critical for today's world. And also, by using formative assessment techniques or activities in classroom, students can develop their regulation, self-regulation skill, critical thinking skill, and problem-solving skills by themselves through self-assessment or peer assessment. The last point, but which is very important, is by means of formative assessment, students can develop their level of progress and also their learning achievement. So these are the major benefits. However, we have some challenges and difficulties. Before we move on to that part, let me kindly invite Teacher Ipyu to demonstrate some useful formative assessment activities. So the floor is now yours now, Teacher Ipyu.
Thank you, Teacher Mia. So welcome to my presentation, everyone. In my part, I will focus on some effective formative assessment activities that will be useful in your classrooms. So before I go to my part, can I ask you a question like, can you name some formative assessment activities that you are using in your classrooms? Can you type the answers in the chat box, maybe quizzes or easy takers? So what kind of formative assessment activities are you using in your classroom? Thank you, Padlet, Briggs. Yeah, students interview, is it ticket? What all? Thank you. So thank you everyone for your participation. And today I will focus on some formative assessment activities. So teacher, let me share my screen. Yes. So there are many kinds of formative assessment activities that we can do in both our physical classroom or virtual classroom, and these are some examples for you. Quizzes, yeah, as you mentioned, they can be matching, labeling a diagram, or just a simple spelling check. And then the most common and popular formative assessment is it ticket. And if we don't have much time, and if we cannot give much time to students in our classroom, we can just use gestures in our class, and then there will be sent chats. And today, let me focus on send activities. Yes, thank you. There are many activities in our chat box too. So the first one is it ticket? And here is an example that is called 3, 2, 1 is it slip. There can be many ways that we can use for exit tickets in our classroom, and that is 3, 2, 1. Students can do the exit ticket before they leave the classroom, and then of course we have to collect information and data from the student before we leave our classroom. So in this 3, 2, 1 exit slip, we need to give students a piece of paper, and students have to write 3 things they have learned, 2 things they found interesting, and then the last one is 1 question they want to ask about the topic. So based on our students and our lesson, we can adapt this activity as we like, and they are easy takers for our classroom. And the most important one is we have to collect data from the students, so we can assess the learning progression of students, and we can make some changes in our lessons. Yes, yes, I see like KWA chat in the message bar. So yes, another one is KWA chat. K is for what the students know before the lesson. W is for what the students they want to know after the lesson, and M means like what students have learned from the lesson. But For W session, students might need thinking time. So today in my webinar, I would like to suggest one thing. We can adapt this chat into only two parts. Key part, what the students know before the lesson, and the A for what the students have learned after the lesson. We can do it before we start our lesson, or we can also do it after the end of our lesson. Students can also compare what they have known and what they have learned before and after the lesson. So this KWA chat allows us to find out the students' prior knowledge about the lesson. And we can also use this KWA chat when we want to start a new topic. But it's better for older students with writing ability. If not, we can adapt and we can change and off the chat here. So there is KWA chat, and there is also a kind of easy ticket. Yeah, another one is SOS, and I would like to suggest the teachers to use for older students, maybe for young adult students or adult learners. We can use this chat. S is for statement. Teacher has to give a statement. For example, here, I love doing quizzes. And students have to give their opinion. In simple way, the student can answer just like, I agree or I disagree. For more adult students, we can put the sentence like, support. Students have to give their support sentence based on their answers. So that is also a kind of easy ticket that we can do in our classroom. And then we can collect the data and information from our students. So these are some easy tickets that we can use. And another one is if we don't have much time, and then if we are teaching a classroom with a large number of students, we can simply use gestures. So we can see all the students, and then we can do it in a short time. So this is an example of using gestures. There are many things we can do with our students' body parts. So there is a kind of example. When students touch their head, it means yes, I agree, or maybe yes, I understand. So when the students put their hands on their nose, it means no, I disagree, or maybe no, I still want to ask you a question. So there is a kind of example. In another way, students can also show their fingers for the answers. For example, like when they want to show number 1, they can show 1 finger. For number 2, 2 fingers. Number 3, 3 fingers. And when students have to choose the answer from like A, B, C, students can show 1 finger for answer A, 2 fingers for answer B, 3 fingers for answer C. So we can let students show their body parts, and we can just assess our student in a large classroom, and we don't need much time for this activity. And if you are using gestures with your students, you can also share that in the chat box. So that is a kind of example, and we can also see their physical response. We can also assess our student by looking at their responses in the classroom. So let me move to our online classroom. We can also use that in our online classroom, but there are some more effective online tools for our classroom. The first one is Force. I believe most of the teachers in our country are using Zoom platform to teach our students. So I take a screenshot from Zoom platform. You can also use other platform to create poll. So that is poll, and we can use a poll to start at the beginning of our lesson to elicit our students' prior knowledge. And then during our lesson, when we want to ask students understanding, we can also use a poll. At the end of our class, we can use a poll as an easy ticket. So we can assess what students take away from our lesson today. So that is a kind of example. And if you don't want to take much time, you can just create a poll, and then you can ask close-ended question. So students can choose only yes or no for the answers. And if we have much time, we can also ask open-ended question, and students can choose multiple answers. So you can also create polls in other platforms, and that is for Zoom. And there are some more effective online tools that we can use easily and simply. I believe that all the teachers might be familiar with these applications and online tools. So the first one is the most popular and common to Kahoot and Quizy, and the last one is formative. Yeah, so let's go and look at Kahoot. If you are using Google browser or other browser, and if you have a Gmail account, you can just simply sign it into Kahoot. And you will see like there are some questions like, are you a teacher? Where you use this platform as a teacher or as a student? Of course, we will choose a teacher, and you can just sign it with your email, or you can connect with your Gmail too. So when you are in their website, you will see this page. If you want to use more activities in Kahoot, you can buy like monthly or yearly, but we can also use their basic plan. So in their basic plan, there are many formative assessment activities. So that is a kind of easy way. I choose anime quiz for today. So I will give you the link at the end of our webinar, and you can try to sign in Kahoot. In here, we can choose classic mode, and then that is the teacher's point of view. In our view, we can see the question, and we can also see the answers with the colors together. But for our students' view, they can see only the colors, and they have to look at the questions on teacher's screen. So if there is some problems, or maybe your student don't have enough devices, we can change or adapt our Kahoot. We teachers can share the screen, or maybe we can play the screen on a projector, so students can see the question here on our screen. After that, we can let our students show the answers by using color cards or letter cards. So for example, if there are 3 answers, we can imagine like answer A, B, C. So we have to let students make 3 cards with A, B, C, and they can just simply show the cards for the answer. And then if to be more simple and clear, we can also use the color cards. So here you can see 3 answers. That's why there are 3 colors: red, blue, and yellow. Sometimes there can be more than 3 answers. So we will let students use the color papers: red, blue, and yellow. We don't need a big one. So we can use small color cards, and students can show the answers with the color cards. So for we can adapt the activity based on our classroom and our students. Quizy is a little bit similar with Kahoot, and send all the activities in Quizy are also free for you. So you can just sign up and do it. So another one, and the last one, is formative website. Here too, you can sign in with your Gmail, and when you are in the home page, you can create your own formative assessment quiz, or you can also use from their formative assessment activities. And if you want to add anything, you can click on the icons, and now you can see as example. So when you want to add audio, you can just click on audio, and you can select from your computer. And you can also add images, video, or send out the drawings. After that, we can also choose the style of our formative assessment, where you let your students do matching, multiple choice, or do you want your student give only a short answer? So you can choose your style too. After that, don't worry, it will be auto save, and you can share the link to your student like Kahoot. So it's like Kahoot. We can also adapt that based on our classroom. And if you are teaching more adult learners or young adult students, you can create a classroom in this platform. After that, you can invite your students to do the quiz. But don't forget to collect data or information from your students' answers. So that is the end of my presentation. Now, teacher Dr. Namyat will present how to overcome challenges of deploying formative assessment in our classroom. Thank you so much, teacher. Over to you.
Thank you very much, teacher Ipyu, for providing such insightful activities that we can use for our formative assessment, and also for inviting me. So let me continue the last, but the most important part of today's webinar, challenges of implementing formative assessment in our classes. And before I move on, I am very happy to see lots of you, many of you have already been familiar with these formative assessment activities, and it shows that we have been trying our best to make our teaching effective. Okay, I'm very happy and proud to see this situation. So now, not imagine, because I have seen that most of you have been using formative assessment activities. So based on your own experience, what challenges or what difficulties have you faced in implementing formative assessment activities in your classroom? Can you can actually answer you can give answer through chat box. Can you please type what are the challenges that you have faced or that you have been facing in implementing formative assessment activities? For example, like lack of knowledge how to do, meaning you don't know what activities to use. You think that is not suitable for your context. You have tight schedule. Okay. Skills needed. Yes. Time limit. Lack of knowledge on how to do exactly. Time limit. Students lack of participation. Okay. Time limit. No Wi-Fi. Oh, yeah, that is Wi-Fi issue. Yes. And certain lack of knowledge. Yes. That's why I am here, to share our experience and knowledge with you. Time limit, question, electricity. Yes, yes. Internet issue, no experience. Absentee during the assessment day. Oh, okay. So do you think there is assessment day set? Do we need to do it? No electricity. Okay. Lack of IT knowledge. Oh, okay. Yeah. Weak interest. Okay, nice. Yeah, lots and lots of challenges, right? Actually, challenges and teachers are very familiar. We love each other very much, right? Okay. So according to literature, according to studies and some research made in non-Western cultures, okay? Actually, these are common issues and challenges found in non-Western teaching, learning situations. So the most common ones are teacher dominated practices, meaning teacher focused practices. We teachers taking lots of time to teach, and then we explain all the time, okay, without participation of students. So this is one of the most common problem. And also nature of students, not only in our country, but also in other Asian countries. Good students are meant to be very obedient and quiet students. Okay, so rooted to that nature, students are very reluctant to speak out their challenges that they have been facing, or even when they don't understand something, they dare not let teacher know, or they dare not tell other people, including teacher, of course. And yeah, of course, in our context, it has been a long time to focus exam scores or final scores, final grades, not only students, but also teachers, and in turn, parents, and also that is the main focus of us to learn. It means to get the first prize or the highest score, A-star in all six subjects, etc. So very traditionally focused on exam. And for teachers, yes, many of you have said time constraint. We have some limitation. We have to finish from this unit to this unit within like a certain period of time. And also we have to do other workloads. Okay, very heavy workloads. And also many of you have said insufficient resources. Actually, this is like one of the misconceptions, because as you have seen, because when you can Google it, you can see different online resources. Let me give you one example. Okay, this is one of the examples of online resources. And when you just click on this link, you can see different formative assessment activities, including explanation, how to conduct it, how to do it in your classroom, okay? Draw a face, summary sentence. And actually, we have already provided some more online resources in next few slide, but this is just for an example. So this is what you can learn and what you can see, sample formative assessment activities. Okay, so this is not our major concern. And also facilities. as teacher Ipyu has presented, if you don't have enough facilities or materials, you can use different activities or different ways, meaning modify or adapt. So teacher Ipyu has actually repeatedly said modify and adapt. You can always do it. If you don't have any material, you can ask students to use their gestures, like touch their nose or touch their head, or that's showing fingers, one fingers, two fingers, etc. Okay, so it is very accessible, or it is very doable for teachers by using different activities which is suitable for your own context, and also training. That's why hopefully there will be more webinars and seminars on formative assessment and implementing it like today's webinar. Okay, so the main thing is we have many different challenges. Maybe in addition to these, there are some more, and how to overcome them. Okay, so the part is, this is my suggested strategy based on my own experience and also my personal belief. The main thing is, you actually can use these 4M strategy. 4M's, easy to remember, right? 4M's, the first one is modify and adapt. This is, as teacher, if you repeatedly mentioned, you can modify any activity to suit your context. Okay, so how to make it? So this is the checklist. One of the participants teacher actually asked this question, okay, what are the checklists that we need to use? Okay, this is the sample. So I'm so happy we have same minds. Okay, so you actually asked to see, requested to see checklist, and this is it. So to modify any activity, you can think of these 6 things. Okay, so in acronyms, you can easily remember it. ALSSTM. ALSSTM. A is for age, your student's age, and your student's level. So consider these things. Is the activity suitable for my student's age or suitable for my student's level? And class size. Are you dealing with large class or small class? And is it appropriate for my class size? And also skill or lesson. What skill are you focusing, or which lesson are you focusing? That's why, although we are mainly focusing about language teaching, actually formative assessment can be used for any discipline, for any subject like geography or science or whatever. Okay, it is very effective. And also time. How much time you like to use to gather the information from the students, and also the material available. If you think that, oh, your Wi-Fi is not very good, then you can use physical like activities by means of papers or gestures or fingers, these things. Okay, so anything can be adapted and can be modified based on these points. So please try to remember, if you have some no's or a no in any of these points, you just change it or modify it. And if you find that every criterion is satisfied, then you can use that activity effectively in your classroom. Okay, so actually these 4M strategy is very related back to our 4 core elements of formative assessment. The first point, I'm sure you will remember it, that is identify students' gaps. So the main intention of using these activities is to collect information or data about students' weaknesses and the challenges that they are facing for the time being. Okay, and then the second point, if you like any activity, if you like to use any activity, it needs to be easy for your students, and also it needs to be encouraging. One of the teacher asked that, excuse me, formative assessment, is it fair or not fair? Actually, formative assessment's major goal is not to give scores or final grades on a student's performance. It is just to help students overcome their difficulties and also to raise their standards of achievement. That's why we need to make our students understand that criterion or that target clearly, so that they can think that, okay, this is not for our final score. This is just to help us to overcome or to understand the skills that is forecast. So our students should be encouraged to first to give their opinion openly, and also to give their correct opinion or their true opinion on this kind of activity. Okay, so it needs to be easy and encouraging. That is second M, make it easy and encouraging. The third one is model, which is very important, especially for making our students do self-assessment or peer assessment activities. As we have already known, formative assessment is stay and familiar, especially to our students. That's why we need to model ourselves first. So how to give scores on their own performance or on their peers' performance. Okay, so to do that, we can use, this is just, for example, this is for writing assessment for their own. Then by taking a student's writing or student's piece of writing, then you can do it as a model, okay? By reading out that writing, okay, I enjoy the writing tasks, why or why not? Okay, so you can give some sample sentences. I do not enjoy or I did not enjoy this writing task because the topic is not very familiar to me. Okay, you do it as a model first. And I answered all parts of the question, for example, and okay, for this part, if you agree that is true for you, you can circle 3. And if that is partly true for you, just circle 2. And if that is not true, you just circle 1. So you do it as a model, like a couple of times in front of the whole class. Then your students are encouraged to do that self-assessment or peer assessment activity. Okay, this is the third M in our strategy. So this is the third M. What is next one? That one is make it effective, which is the most important one, relate back to our criteria, that is to accelerate students' achievement. After getting the required information or after knowing which students need what area to improve, then you need to give effective feedback and also make sure whether they have overcome or they have got that skill. So how to do it? By asking questions, not like closed-ended questions, like, do you understand it now? Or have you got it now? No, not like that, okay? Then you can use open questions like, okay, why do you think you can do it now? Or why do you think that is significant to you? Or how to do it? How would you do it? Etc. Okay, so making students think or making students use their higher order thinking skill in giving back to your in giving answer back to your question. And also, you don't forget to check whether they can really achieve that skill or really got that target area that you like to focus on. So this is actually not a tool. Formative assessment is actually not a tool that you can use to make your teaching effective. It is a process, okay? It is a process that going on and on. So starting from collecting data and then giving feedback, making your students involved in their own activities or on their learning, and also make your teaching effective by means of using scaffolding activities or by adapting or by changing your instruction to their needs, okay? This is like continuous process. Okay, so here's some rubric for writing assessment. As I mentioned before, you can do this rubric as a, activity by doing it as a model, how to give scores for their peer assessment, for their peers' performance. For 1 score, it means the essay poorly addresses topic and includes irrelevant ideas. So you choose some students' writing and then do it as an example. And also you could include 1 suggestion or comment to improve, meaning you can ask your students to give 1 suggestion or 1 way to make their writing improve. So if you do it, don't forget to provide sample language first. For example, your presentation or your writing or your essay, whatever, is informative, starting with plus point, good point, and then followed by 1 suggestion, which is constructive, not negative, just positive and constructive. So don't forget to provide such essential language for your students so that they can do it with least pressure and worries. Okay. So this is a rubric that you can use in your class, but please bear in mind that you can at any time modify any rubric or any activity or any checklist by yourself, because you are the king or queen of your classroom, so that you can make any changes which you think can be effective for your students, because we want to be an effective teacher and we want to be good teachers and we want our teaching effective for our students, right? Okay. So this is the sample checklist for oral representation for peer assessment. So give an interesting introduction. So make them think of that very good or satisfactory or needs improvement. If they think very good, 3, 2, 1, etc. Or you can also give, if you want to avoid giving that number, those number, because some students hate numbers, especially, like poor, or if they think themselves like poor or not very good, they hate numbers. Then you can say 3 stars, 2 stars, 1 star. Okay, always modify it. Okay, so this is some sample rubrics and checklist that you can use for your for implementing formative assessment to be effective in your classroom. So now let me invite Teacher Ipyu for our takeaway messages. So now over to you, teacher.
Thank you, teacher. So now I believe you teachers might have some ideas how to deploy formative assessment activities in our classrooms. So thank you so much for your attention and participation. And shall we also make an easy ticket for our webinar? I have some questions for you. That will be an easy ticket from our webinar today. So let me start with a close-ended question. You can simply type in the chat box yes or no. So after this webinar, do you think you will use formative assessment in your tomorrow classes? Could you please type yes or no? Okay, yes, yes. Yes, okay, thank you so much. So most of the teachers say yes. So if yes, what formative assessment activities would you most likely to use? You can choose from online tools or from our physical assessment activities. Is it ticket? Yeah, is it Slate, KWA, quiz, online tools, TPR, quiz, Kahoot? Okay, thank you so much for the answers. Online tools, yeah, physical, judges, quizzes, judges, TPR, online or physically. Thank you so much, teachers. So, and there's another question, the last one. What information about formative assessment would you like to share to your colleagues or friends? Is there anything you would like to share to your colleagues or friends from today's webinar? So that will be an easy ticket. Benefits of formative assessment, SOS chat, activities, yes, online tools, course online assessment, okay, judges, online tools, activities. There are lots of answers in the chat box. Think pressure, yeah, 4Ms, online tools. So thank you so much, teachers. So I saw in the chat box like some other teachers have challenges to deploy formative assessment in our classroom. Actually, we can just simply use a piece of paper, or maybe we can just let the students use their body parts as gestures. Yes, and if we have challenges in online tools, we can simply adapt or change our activity. So our takeaway message for today is we have to apply formative assessment activities we must, and we have to collect information about our students' learning. After that, we must need to change our teaching to enhance students' learning of what they didn't understand well. And as teacher Dr. Danam mentioned, we teachers are the queens or kings in our classroom, and that our students are our priority. So we have to listen and respond to our learners or students. After that, we can make changes to enhance our students' learning progression. So that's our takeaway message for today. Thank you so much for joining webinar. And then there are also some online resources for you. Here, they will be in PDF file too. And if you have any questions, you can type in questions and answer section. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, teacher. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, teachers, for giving us your very informative session there. So we have put the PDF, I have put the PDF into the chat box, and I will put it in again so everybody can get it. Teacher, would you like to stop sharing your screen, and we'll do a couple of questions and answers. That has come up again. The 4M slide, some of the 4M slide. Yeah, could you just show the 4Ms slide again? Because I'm not sure if that one is in the presentation that I've shared. We can just share that one and they can take a screenshot.
Poems. Okay.
Show that one. Yeah, if you look up in the chat box, I did put the PDF. It's probably just still loading. I always try to put it about 5 times because everybody misses it. But yeah, it's going in there again. But yeah, this slide might not be in it, so you can take a screenshot of that slide. Okay, there's that slide. So a couple of questions for you. One question that comes up quite a lot, and one of the, say, it's kind of a buzzword, I think, at the moment, for learner autonomy. And of course, because of the situation and the climate in Myanmar, we want our learners to be more autonomous, to be able to take control of themselves. Can using formative assessment help with creating more learner autonomy?
Okay, may I answer it? Okay, so for that question, very good question. Thank you for that. And I would say yes and no. It means of yes, formative assessment can enhance students' self-regulation, and they are also thinking skill. That's why it can be effective for students to be autonomous. However, on the other hand, our students have been very rooted to our old education system, which is like they just depend on teachers for most of the time. That's why I would say they still need some scaffolding activities or some support from teachers. Later on, it can be possible for our students to be autonomous learners. But yes, we teachers are, stay playing in an important role to make them autonomous learners.
I think that's a realistic view, and that's the problem, is that becoming an autonomous learner is it's a long road, and some teachers think that it can be something quick, and it definitely cannot. So I think that's definitely the realistic view. But can it help? Yes, but you have to be really doing it and really consciously doing it very well, effectively, to really try and contribute to that. Ipu, do you want to say anything about that?
I saw one question in the chat box. Can I answer for that?
Sure.
Yeah. What are the tools for students' difficulty in self-assessment? Yes, thank you so much for your question. Yeah, there can be some challenges for the students to like fear of judgment or a lack of motivation. So as we mentioned on this slide, we have to model for the student. We have to model how to assess each other and how to assess their friends. After that, we have to make students have a habit of self-assessment. So if we do it again and again, students will be familiar with that. And we also need to explain the students assessment is just to help our learning progress, and it's not to comment or give comments or feedback on their learning. We want to help to progress in their learning, to get progress in their learning. So we have to explain about that to our students, and we have to also make a model before we let our student do it. Okay, thank you so much.
Good. Yeah, that's a very good answer. When we're talking about self-assessment, any of these tools, this also, like both teachers says, any of the tools will take some time to keep doing, so we have to keep repeating them to give the students a chance to do them. Doing it once will, if it doesn't work the first time, that's okay. And then we have to try again and find a way. One of the questions, which I thought was also a good question, is about what do you think this kind of thing would help if you have a student that's quite bossy or quite proud? These are not my words, this is in the chat box. But if a student is quite bossy or quite proud, or maybe they think they are a very high achiever all the time, maybe they are a high achiever, do you think these kind of techniques can help, or these kind of activities can help managing that kind of student?
Definitely, yes, Amy, definitely. Because students are stay on their way of learning journey. So of course they will have some difficulties or some challenges that they need to overcome. And they need to understand the weaknesses and some areas that they need to improve on. Okay, no learners can be 100% perfect or 100%, achievers. That's why definitely formative assessment can help not only those, achievers, very good students, and also like a little bit poor or, average students. Yeah, definitely, yes.
EPU?
Yeah, I would like to share one thing for that. There is a saying, not from me, from a book. If we are not making any mistake, or if there is no challenge or difficulty, it means we are not learning anything new. So we have to tell our students about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I was with some students yesterday, some teenagers, and they were also feeling like that, like, oh, I know everything. And when the activity is too easy, then they feel like, oh, I can do everything. But then the teacher made the activity a little bit more difficult. Then they started making some mistakes, and then they realized, and because the teacher gave them feedback, you're getting it wrong. She wasn't shy to say, this is wrong, you made a mistake, you have to be very accurate. So actually telling them that you're making a mistake will make the student realize that they don't know everything and they're not getting it right, and actually that's the learning. Exactly right. Yeah, absolutely. So thank you very much. Got some benefits over summative. Can you share some benefits of the formative over summative? I think we have covered quite a lot of benefits, but do you think there's one benefit that sticks out for you? Is there any one benefit that really sticks out for you when you do formative assessment in your class?
If you like me to share my screen, can you please enable that screen sharing for me?
Sure.
Thank you. Definitely, I would say for me, formative assessment can let me get information about students' learning progress. Wait. Benefits. Benefits for teacher, I would say it's getting information from students related to our teaching or related to the lessons that we have been teaching. So which actually lacks in summative assessment, right? So, and also this is the very beginning or the starting point of our formative assessment process. So I would say that information available from students is the most, beneficial part for formative assessment for me.
Good for you, EPU.
Yes, not from me, but I saw one question about preschoolers.
Yeah, there's a question about, for younger learners, and I think some teachers are also asking about that. Can you use formative assessment for younger learners? Okay, so this is the last question. What do you think about that?
Yeah, actually, it might be more difficult to apply formative assessment for preschoolers because, in my experience, when preschoolers say yes, at the same time they are not, they don't want to mean yes. So all the students, all the preschool students in your class might say yes, but it doesn't mean yes. Do you understand? And all the students in your class will say yes. So I would like to suggest how about using color cards, or maybe let them draw a picture about the lesson they have learned today. So they can just simply draw a picture and we can see what they have known from the lesson in their picture. And you can also use letter cards or color cards for the very young learners. Yes, thank you so much.
Good. Kian, do you have anything to add?
Yes, for those very young learners, sometimes it can be very funny and also interesting to get their responses by means of formative assessment. You know what? If you can't use formative assessment that effectively, so formative assessment has no question. So they may answer openly their understanding, whether they understand, okay, touch your nose if you don't understand. I believe that they would do so. And maybe some of them don't understand the instruction completely, then you might get some wrong answers, but that is the way how learning goes on, right? During among those young learners. So formative assessment is also very effective and useful for young learners. And a way you need to adapt the activity that you like to use for your learners' level and age. Thank you.
Yeah, good. And also we have to think about the question that you're asking. If you think about the question, if you say, is it blue or is it red? And this means yes and this means no, then maybe you can also find out what doing that. So yeah, I think using actions with younger learners is a very good thing. And pictures, who doesn't like drawing pictures? Wish we could draw pictures all day. That would be great. But also for older learners, we like drawing too, right? Adults like drawing too. Okay, good. Thank you very much. So now we have come to the end of our webinar. I hope that was very informative for everyone. Thank you so much. Lots of interaction today. So well done, everyone, for all your interaction in the chat box and some really nice questions here at the end. Really trying to think about what are the benefits and how can you do it. The best thing you can do also is try it. Try it in your classroom. Just try one. So having a look back, look at the PDF. I put it in there again. I'll put it in there one more time. In case some people can't see it. So really just choosing one thing and trying it, and not just trying it once. If it doesn't work once, that's fine. Try it again. Just try it again until it works. Think about your instructions, because maybe it's not the students, they didn't do it right. We have to think, what were my instructions? What did I do? Did I do this the right way? And like Teacher Kin says, did I model it right? How did we do it in the most effective way? Thank you very much, everyone. Okay, so now at the end, if you would please like to either take a screenshot or take a shot of the QR code for the survey, then you can get your certificate if you do that. And also do please give us your honest feedback, because of course this is formative assessment, getting feedback for our event and seeing what we can improve for next time. And we have been taking the advice from before, and hopefully we are making it this more practical, so everybody can have something to take away and apply tomorrow in their classrooms. Okay, next week we have another one. We have like task-based, using tasks in the class. So task-based learning, that is for next week. So well done for coming today to join us for your professional development. And hopefully we'll see you again at the same time next week, if this is a good time for you. But the recordings also will be available later, so you'll be able to look online and watch those recordings back if you missed those. And all the other teacher takeaway series are also online for you to watch. So thank you very much to everyone. Go back to the QR code. Okay, let's go back to the QR code. There we go. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you very much,
Thank
everyone,
you
for
very much,
joining today's
everyone.
webinar. And also thanks a lot to Amy and Teacher Ite, and as well as to Miss Lily. Without your support, this couldn't be achieved successfully. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, everyone, for your support, and have a nice day.
Hopefully
next
see you
time.
later
Take care.
times.
Yep, see you next time.